I'm Danny Kanell of CBS Sports HQ, here to help you with all your bowl needs. 40 bowl games. We're going through each one and helping you pick them versus the spread. Joined by my guys, Chip Patterson and Barrett Sallee, also of CBS Sports HQ, to help you. Let's look at the Rose Bowl, the granddaddy of them all. Oregon, Pac-12 champ versus Wisconsin, Big Ten runner-up, of course, getting beat in a very tough loss to Ohio State. Wisconsin is the 2.5-point favorite. Now, guys, I have to get this out of my mind because I'm biased toward Oregon because I picked them to win the Pac-12 and to make the playoff. They get left out. There's always the thinking, and I am buying into it this year, that the team that gets left out, that gets disrespected, is going to send a message in their bowl game. And I think this year, I love Oregon in this spot. As a 2.5-point dog, are you kidding me? I think they have too much on both sides of the ball for Wisconsin. I think Oregon's not only going to cover, but win the game outright. Anybody with me? Barrett, how about you?
I'm with you, and I'm with you on the motivation thing, Danny. You and I agree for once that I think that Oregon is the better team. And I think why the line is where it is that people think that Oregon is an exotic offense and that a team like Wisconsin that's so stout at the line of scrimmage will just roll right through them. And that's not accurate. I mean, Oregon's at the line of scrimmage has been phenomenal, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So you put C.J. Verdell behind that offensive line, I think he's going to have success. I do think they're going to work off play action. And I do think that Justin Herbert is going to want to go out on a high note. And I think this is the perfect spot for him. The Rose Bowl is something that I think every Pac-12 program shoots for. Yeah, they didn't make the playoff, but they're going to want to make a statement. So I think this is going to be a fun game. I think it's going to be a victory lap for the Oregon Ducks. I do think they're going to score quite a bit, make Jack Coan try to win with his arm, try to shut down Jonathan Taylor, and I think they'll have enough success doing that to get the win. I can't wait for this game, though. In terms of matchups, this is one of the best matchups of bowl season.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm taking Oregon plus the 2.5. I'm going to be taking Oregon on the money line once we get closer to it. And I don't even need to factor in motivation. I think that Oregon is the better football team in this matchup. And as I start to look at the different ways it breaks down, Barrett hinted at it, this Oregon team is not about Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert might be a top NFL draft prospect, but this is a team that is built to the line of scrimmage behind that offensive line. And I really think that being able to handle Wisconsin's defensive front, being able to put together long drives down the field, complement it with some explosive plays with guys like Juwan Johnson, you really have a chance for the Ducks to be able to create edges that Wisconsin's not going to be able to match up. And then on the other side of the ball, stopping Jonathan Taylor is going to be a big challenge for this Oregon defense. But this Oregon defense has been so tough and physical, particularly up front. I think that when you've got a player like Troy Dye, he's going to be absolutely ready for the challenge of stopping Jonathan Taylor. And I think that an Oregon team and an Oregon defense that has been really good, particularly in the red zone at forcing field goal attempts instead of allowing touchdowns, that could end up being the difference. Wisconsin might be able to move the ball, but when it comes to getting in scoring position, even when they trot out 35 offensive linemen for their short yardage goal-to-go packages, I still think Oregon's going to be able to bring the fight. I'm with y'all. I got the Ducks in this one.
I think so, too. Justin Herbert, I think, needs another strong performance like he had in the Pac-12 championship game to try to further distance the Arizona State nightmare game that's on that resume of his when you started looking for the NFL draft. I do think, Jack Coan showed me something in the Big Ten championship game. All of a sudden, he did his best Lamar Jackson impression, running the football, which I think added an element there because, it was more of a game manager type situation there. But I do think they're going to have problems really spreading the ball around. They're pretty one-dimensional when it comes to Jonathan Taylor in that aspect. The total is 50.5 points. I think it's a little bit low. I think you could see these teams score more points, so I would lean the over. Barrett, what side are you leaning?
This number scares me because I do think it's going to be around a 50-point game. So I would avoid it like the plague, but if I had to pick a side, I would probably lean towards the under. I think that the line of scrimmage is going to be huge in this game, but Oregon likes to run the football, and we know what Wisconsin is. And so I think there'll be enough stops, and like Chip said, Oregon's defense in the red zone forcing field goals is going to be big. If I had to pick it, I would go under, but this is a sketchy number. I think it's going to be right around 50.5.
I'll go over. I don't feel great about it, but something just tells me that we will get one special teams or defensive touchdown. And for those of you who really like to sweat the totals, we all know that a game that on a possession-to-possession basis seems to be favoring the under, every now and then, we get a fumble return touchdown, we get a pick six, we get a punt return, a kickoff return touchdown. And when you've got a setting like the Rose Bowl and you've got all the pomp and the circumstance and the pageantry, there's a lot going on. I mean, you get to those games, we've all been there, you can feel something in the air. And normally in those kind of contests, we get some kind of explosive play that catches us off guard a little bit. So I will lean on the over here, but it is because of the stage and the setting where I think that maybe a mistake, someone slips and falls in coverage, it'll be a weird touchdown that gets us to the over.
I remember vividly, this is the last nugget we'll give you, and it's not really an analytical approach, but I was out at the Rose Bowl when Georgia played Oklahoma in a shootout game. And before the game, Rick Neuheisel, colleague at CBS, he was telling me, because he played in the Rose Bowl, said it's a fast track. For whatever reason, it's a fast track. It breeds offense. I'm going with my man Rick Neuheisel and taking the over, saying there will be some offense played there. The Rose Bowl, Oregon versus Wisconsin, should be a fun one. Of course, New Year's Day at 5 p.m.